Good evening and welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight we're focusing on the story that's developing as we speak, the cliffhanger of a Rajya Sabha election in Gujarat, where we still don't know what the outcome is. But there is plenty of drama that is taking place both in Gandhinagar and here in Delhi, with senior leaders of the BJP and the Congress now fighting it out at the Election Commission. This is what is at stake today. At stake is the Rajya Sabha seat of Ahmed Patel, senior Congress leader and close aide of Sonia Gandhi. This Rajya Sabha election has become a huge prestige battle between Ahmed Patel on one hand and BJP President Amit Shah on the other. And that's clearly reflected in the way that this battle is playing out. This is an election that has gone down to the wire, which means that every single vote has mattered for the BJP and the Congress candidate. The magic number is 45. But Ahmed Patel has hoped since this morning that he can scrape through that magic number and be able to hold on to that Rajya Sabha seat. But what has happened in the last 2 hours has completely changed the game at the moment, because the Congress has gone to the Election Commission complaining that 2 MLAs, rebel MLAs of their party, violated Election Commission rules and showed their ballot papers to the BJP president, which is a violation of the rules. So that video evidence is currently being examined by the Election Commission here in Delhi. At the moment, counting still hasn't gotten underway, and it will once the Election Commission decides on what to do. Sunil Prabhu first joining us live at this hour, and he has senior Congress leader Ambika Soni with him. Sunil, over to you and more on what the Congress is saying at this hour.
Yes, Nidhi, thanks very much. We just had a Congress working committee, and of course, as you rightly said, Ambika ji is part of the thing, this high-stake battle here in Ahmedabad. The Congress putting its best foot forward and trying everything under the sun. Do you believe that you all have lost this election because of the fact that, you all are trying to ask for two MLAs votes to be disqualified?
We are not trying everything under the sun. We have the votes. MLAs are there sufficient to elect one candidate of the Congress party, which is Ahmed Patel. Now we are also entitled as a political party to disallow others, the opponents, to misinterpret the law or to violate the law. So we have to be extremely alert, because they are trying everything possible to make us lose, which is not being possible. So we feel that they are also violating certain electoral practices, which we brought to the notice of the Election Commission.
There's been a precedent of Randeep Surjewala's vote being disallowed during the Subhash Chandra R.K. Anand case. But you believe now, because even Mr. Arun Jaitley and others have gone to the Election Commission saying that the Sultanate has crumbled, they're using Jairam Ramesh's words, and in that argument, do you believe now that for the Congress, you believe you have somewhere down the line lost this entire game?
No, I don't think so at all. And if honorable ministers are using language which is not necessary, they've only got to conform to electoral practices and electoral law. That's what we are doing. And if the Election Commission holds our plea, we should be winning very easily. There's no question of having lost the election at all.
The fact that Ahmed Patel, and there's so much of camera attention on him today because of the fact that he's the political secretary, he's seen as this all-pervasive, all-important man of the Congress party, and the fact that Sonia Gandhi's name has been drawn into this entire contest, will this mean the beginning of the end if he loses? Or does this mean that this will be a victory for you? How do you view this?
This is a normal election being held for a biennial election which takes place every 6 years. And Ahmed Bhai's term came to an end now, so he's been renominated.
But all his people who have been responsible for him, and he's been the strongman of the Congress in Gujarat. Clearly there has been so much of attack on him personally.
No, I'm sorry. If people are trying to vitiate the atmosphere, I can't stop them, because you can see around the country where the stones are being thrown at political leaders like our Vice President, or people are being lynched in open streets. These are not normal democratic practices. And if the present ruling outfit wants to make them the normal practice, we are going to oppose that tooth and nail.
So here you have it, Nidhi. Clearly, they say they will fight it tooth and nail. They are continuing to battle this out with the Election Commission. Another delegation from the Congress is expected to meet the Election Commission, including Mr. Ashok Gehlot and Mr. Chidambaram, among others. We'll have to wait and see. This seems to be a long drawn-out process, and counting, as you are well aware, hasn't yet begun in the city of Gujarat.
All right, Sunil, thanks very much for that. And in fact, my colleague Vaidyanathan spoke to Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman just a few minutes ago. It's incredible, actually, because the way in which politicians from both sides, senior politicians from both sides, have gone to the EC this evening. It's all been happening in the last hour or so. And a number of union ministers going as well, from Arun Jaitley to Nirmala Sitharaman, Piyush Goyal, Dharmendra Pradhan and others, all at the Election Commission just a little while ago. Nirmala Sitharaman completely rubbishing the Congress's charges there. This is what she told NDTV just minutes earlier.
No, our grievance is that at the end of the day, you cannot suddenly say the process was wrong. The presiding officer seated there was well within his right and has the powers to warn and also withdraw the vote and then say it's cancelled because something went wrong. None of that happened. And all this has been captured in the camera. At that time, Congress also did not object. And to come at the end of the day and say, no, I'm sorry, it has to be held up is wrong. And we only reminded the Election Commission that we need the process to be completed. Election Commission should hold elections and not hold up elections.
But Congress allegation is basically saying that Mr. Amit Shah and Smriti Irani, the votes were shown to them. There is a video.
First thing, let us understand. Since 2010, the secrecy aspect, I'm not agreeing with the Congress's allegation. But if you're talking about just the secrecy, let's be clear, the element of secrecy in Rajya Sabha elections from 2010 has been completely removed. The voter can, the elector can show to the observer as to his own authorized person who is cast the vote. So to hold up on the ground of secrecy by law doesn't exist, but the fact remains that throughout the day Congress never thought of objecting anything. Presiding officer didn't think there was something going wrong. So why at the end of the day are you afraid that you're losing the election?
When the counting will start, Thank you, ma'am. That was Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman saying that Congress is in the fear of losing. That's why they came to EC.
Right, well, quite chaotic scenes there at the Election Commission this evening here in Delhi. Let's also take a look at what Ahmed Patel himself is saying. This is his latest comments now.
And returning officer didn't take any action. So now we have approached the Election Commission, Central Election Commission. Pardon? Let us say we should wait for till the Election Commission's order.
Sir, the Janata Dal United said that the...
forget about the result. Let the result come now. Let the counting take place now.
But sir, you're not
confident about the counting in the afternoon? No, I am very much confident. But let us, the counting to hone do, Baba. I am very much confident. What are you talking about?
Well, that is the latest soundbite from Ahmed Patel, the man at the center of this entire political storm right now. He's saying, wait for the EC's decision. And that is exactly what we're doing. We don't know how long it's going to take. And we don't know when the counting will actually take place. The counting itself may not take very long. But for that, the Election Commission here has to give the green signal so that it can take place. Rohit Bhan joining us now from Gandhinagar and Sunitra Chaudhary from here in Delhi. Rohit, to you first, what are you hearing, if anything, on the EC decision?
Nothing as of now, Nidhi. In fact, what we've been told is now the ball is in the court of Election Commission in Delhi. And that's why even the electoral officers here in Gandhinagar, they're awaiting the decision that is taken by the electoral officers in Delhi. Till then, all the political party representatives, be it the BJP or the Congress, they will be waiting anxiously for that decision to be taken by the Election Commission. The BJP hoping that the complaint of the Congress will be rejected so that the counting starts. The Congress, on the other hand, hoping that their complaint will be upheld because these votes are very crucial now. As we've been mentioning through the day, every single vote counts. And the Congress hoping that if the complaint is upheld and these two MLAs are disqualified, the number of the magic number of 45 would perhaps go down to 44 and they might scrape through because they're not confident now about whether Mr. Chotubhai Wasawa has actually voted for the BJP or for the Congress candidate, and also a big question mark on whether Mr. Jayant Patel, an NCP MLA, has voted for them. Though as you heard, Mr. Ahmed Patel still insisting that he has the numbers, he's confident of winning, but some sources, some leaders in BJP insisting that by going to the Election Commission, it was evident that the Congress did not have the required number, which is 45, and that is why they were insisting on the invalidation of these two BJP votes. So clearly, it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. In fact, we're waiting here. We don't know when the counting is going to start. It's been a long day for both the political parties and also for the media here, and we don't know when it's going to end soon, when the counting is going to start.
Well, Rohit, we're going to sit side by side and go through this till the bitter end, I assure you. Thanks a lot for that update. And Sunitra, just hearing now again that another BJP delegation again has gone to the Election Commission, as in those who had gone earlier have gone back. This includes Nirmala Sitharaman, Piyush Goyal, Ravi Shankar Prasad and Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan. It's like half the cabinet is there.
Well, yes, the pressure is on from both sides, and now it's really for the Election Commission to join. So every time the Congress goes back there, the strategy is very clear to negate what the Congress is saying. It's all up to the EC, and the stakes are very high as well, because the Congress very clearly in their petition and in their application appeal to the EC is saying that centre is using all its powers to influence the Election Commission. So it's a really serious allegation that they have levelled. So the BJP feels that they need to totally take it head on, and so each specific one which is coming out, both sides are trying to counter it. If you look at the latest one, when Congress said in its petition that the fact that they wanted the two MLAs, because what happens is these two MLAs are the rebel MLAs. If they have given their benefit of their vote to Balwant Singh Rajput, if the Congress manages to get them disqualified, then the benefit that was going to the BJP candidate would not stand, and that's where Ahmed Patel would get. So their entire effort is to negate that. So when Congress said that they should be disqualified on the basis of secrecy, what is interesting is that the Congress immediately came back and said that look at this, the BJP said immediately, we heard Nirmala Sitharaman say to Arunachalam Vaidyanathan that the secrecy doesn't stand, clause does not stand since 2010. However, we're now hearing from the Congress that they are citing the precedent of the Haryana Rajya Sabha election. And in the Haryana Rajya Sabha elections, Randeep Singh Surjewala was also disqualified for the exact same reason. So it's fascinating. If you recall the Haryana Rajya Sabha election, which also went down completely to the wire, it was the fight between R.K. Anand as an independent who was being backed by Congress, and Subhash Chandra, who was the BJP candidate. And in that particular one, there was lots of factionalism as well, Huda supporters going a different way. So there were lots of problems in that particular one. So echoes of the same kind of election. And in that, you had Randeep Surjewala, when he voted, he came out and showed his vote. And for that particular reason, his vote got disqualified. In the end, we saw the BJP candidate Subhash Chandra winning the election and coming to Rajya Sabha. It is that particular precedent which the Congress is citing now. We heard Anand Sharma say that without taking Randeep Surjewala's name, but these are the kind of precedents that they're looking at. So the EC, it just depends. Nobody knows how long the EC is going to say it, but they are the ones who are going to look at all these arguments and then come to a conclusion.
All right, Sunitra and Rohit, thanks very much for that. Let me just go across straight to our panel tonight, because this is a developing story. Aarti Jairath, senior journalist, with us here in the studio. Swati Chaturvedi, journalist and author, also joining us tonight. Swati, in fact, interviewed Ahmed Patel just days ago before this election took place. We're also joined by senior advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Dushyant Dave, Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP, Jaiveer Shergill, spokesperson of the Congress party, also with us. We'll also be joined shortly by Mr. Jainarayan Vyas of the BJP. Swati, let me just go across to you first. Quite unbelievable, the scenes that we're seeing, and really reflecting how important this Rajya Sabha seat is, and that it's really not about this one seat. It's to do with so much more.
No, it's a much bigger story, Nidhi. And as Ahmed Patel told NDTV in my interview with him, there was a completely personal battle between him and Amit Shah. That's proved to be prophetic, because I don't think we've ever seen such spectacle that, it's like delegation versus delegation. I mean, half the cabinet is sitting in Nirvachan Sadan. So I'm not quite clear why there's so much desperation. I mean, why can't let the EC not be so pressurized? I mean, we're sending a very weird message publicly, with this delegation versus delegation going on.
Well, I just want to ask Mr. Dushyant Dave about the legalities of what's at play here. Mr. Dave, what do the rules exactly say about showing ballot papers? What we understand very basically is that when MLAs go into vote, the only people they can show the ballot paper to are the election agent, and obviously Amit Shah in this case is not the election agent. So is that basically what it is? Is that a clear violation of the rules if it's correct?
There are many things. First and foremost, you must understand that the 10th schedule to the Constitution which was brought by the Parliament really speaks about, this kind of defection and provides that anybody who votes against the party whip is liable to be disqualified. Now that provision was brought for strengthening the parliamentary democracy and to ensure that the party system in India remains under check. It was an extremely salutary provision. Now, Section 94 of the Representation of People's Act also provides that secrecy of a ballot is sacrosanct. There are two judgments of the Supreme Court, I think in Nadar's case in 92 or something, and in Kuldeep Nair's case later in 2006. In both these judgments, Supreme Court has categorically said that secrecy of a ballot is absolutely sacrosanct and cannot be wished away under any circumstances. Free and fair elections can be ensured only if the ballot remains secret, and as you rightly said, it can, if at all, can be shown to the agent of the party to which the voter belongs. Now in this case, Mr. Amit Shah certainly was not the agent of the party to which these rebel Congress leaders belong. Therefore, there is no doubt in my mind that what happened was really something extraordinary, and the two votes which are in question deserve to be disqualified straight away. Having said that, I must also say one thing, that the Election Commission has overall power under Article 324 of Superintendent, Supervision and Control of Elections. It has power to annul the election, it has power to order a by-poll. It has absolutely wide powers, and it is under a constitutional obligation to stick to its constitutional mandate and ensure that this kind of situation is which is extraordinarily perverted. This really makes the mockery of democracy, right from the day when Mr. Waghela and many others were lured away for reasons and considerations which the entire nation knows. So I think Election Commission, if at all it is free and independent, which I doubt it is, must step in and really ensure that this poll is immediately cancelled. These people who have voted against their own nominee must be disqualified straight away, their vote must be taken out, and including these two people, and the result may be perhaps declared or by poll may be ordered.
That's quite a scathing indictment you've made of the Election Commission as well, Mr. Dave, and you don't mince your words. Aarti, just getting you to weigh in on this and the decision that we're waiting for. There's just absolutely no clarity on when this counting can begin. There are some reports that the Gujarat Chief Electoral Officer says the counting has to take place today, but we're pretty much groping in the dark at this point.
Yeah, I know, and I think it is really vitiating the democratic process, because why should it take the Election Commission so long? I think the complaint was filed at 5 o'clock, and we are now at 8:15. Yeah, I mean it's more than 3 hours. Why should the Election Commission take so long to take a simple decision like this? I mean, I know it has to look at evidence, but surely it can be done quickly, and it needs to be done quickly because, I mean, it's making the Gujarat poll process look more and more perverted with parties sending delegation after delegation, making accusations against their rivals. So the whole process has been vitiated, the atmosphere has been vitiated, and it's not healthy for democracy at all.
All right, we've got Jaiveer Shergill of the Congress here, and we're just trying to get through to the BJP in just a short while. But Jaiveer, you've heard what the other panelists have had to say. The BJP's counter argument to this is, why did you wake up to this at 5 o'clock in the evening? Why, I mean, the votes were cast in the morning. Why wasn't the complaint filed then?
I think it's first high time BJP minister and their entire team of spokesperson check their facts. Mr. Ahmed Patel gave a written objection in the morning itself. Only once the RO refused to decide on this issue, we approached the Election Commission. And as
so you're saying the original complaint was filed there?
Our objection was filed in the office, in the presence of the RO. Yes, that was done. And Mr. Ahmed Patel went live to say that it's not that we have woken up late. We followed a proper procedure. But today, Nidhi, the point is, irrespective of the outcome of the result, this entire process has exhibited BJP's political desperation and insecurity. From day one, the attempt has been to poach, hijack and sabotage these Rajya Sabha polls. And Nidhi, you know, I heard you saying that this is about prestige. It's not about prestige. Today, it's about democracy, people's power versus BJP's muscle and money power. You imagine a state where 200 people have died in floods. The priority of the entire central and state government is one Rajya Sabha seat.
Javi, just let me just cut across to these live pictures of Mr. Chidambaram, and I think that's Randeep Surjewala with him. Yeah, let's listen in.
All of you keep quiet, please. Will you please keep quiet for a minute? Please keep quiet for a minute. Please keep quiet for a minute, I said. Please keep quiet for a minute. Okay. We have pointed out to him there is videograph evidence to show that the ballot papers of 2 Congress MLAs were seen by persons other than the authorized person of the party. That is a violation of the conduct of election rules read with a circular of the Election Commission. There are precedents where such ballot papers have been rejected. The most recent precedent was in Haryana on June 11, 2016. On June 11, 2016, in the election to the Rajya Sabha, a Congress MLA's vote was rejected on the ground that the ballot paper had been seen by a person other than the authorized person. There was another precedent in 2000 in Rajasthan where an independent MLA's ballot paper was rejected on the ground it was seen by a person other than the authorized person. In Gujarat, there is ample evidence to show that 2 votes cast by Congress MLAs were seen by persons other than the authorized person. In fact, our reports are at least 2 or 3 persons have seen the ballot paper. Those 2 ballot papers went in favor of the BJP, which is why unauthorized persons of the BJP saw those ballot papers. Those 2 must be rejected. Election Commission cannot follow anything except its own precedent of June 11, 2016. Therefore, we have impressed upon the Election Commission that those 2 ballot papers must be rejected. Our reports from Gujarat are the returning officer is rightly awaiting the instructions of the Election Commission. Let me make one thing clear. The only constitutional authority is the Election Commission. Conduct and superintendence of election is vested in the Election Commission. The returning officer is only an officer appointed by the Election Commission to carry out certain acts. The ultimate decision is always a decision of the Election Commission. We have told the Election Commission must take the decision. The Election Commission must reject these 2 ballot papers as it did in Haryana on June 11, 2016. These 2 ballot papers must be rejected and the counting must be completed.
Why wait till the nth hour to red flag this, sir? They cast their ballot at about 9 a.m. this morning at 3:30. That's the BJP argument, line of argument, sir.
It is a completely irrelevant argument. One assumes that when the counting starts, they will review the videos and reject the ballot paper. It is only when they refuse to act according to law, refuse to act according to the circular, refuse to act according to the rules, the question of bringing to the notice of Election Commission arises. One assumes Election Commission, when it reviewed the video, would have rejected it. Why should I assume they won't act according to law? It's only when they delay acting, only when they delay a decision, we bring it to the notice of the Election Commission.
Sir, अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आप लोगों का डेलीगेशन आया था। BJP is alleging this is because you anticipate Mr. Patel is losing in Gujarat and hence you decided to pull this out of your hand.
That is an irrelevant question. Question is, are these two ballot papers liable to be rejected or not? If the BJP is any conscience, it will say, follow the precedent of June 11, 2016 and reject these two ballot papers. The question is, are these ballot papers liable to be rejected? If they are liable to be rejected, they must be rejected and the counting must be completed.
Did you come face to face with the BJP delegation? Did you come face to face with the BJP delegation? The delegation of the BJP that's inside silence.
Gehlot जी सर अभी आप लोगों की मुलाकात करके ऑन करो एक और वन करके ऑन करो रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन करो हाँ आज कांग्रेस पार्टी का एक प्रतिनिधि मंडल जी चुनाव आयोग को मिला और हमने चुनाव आयोग को स्पष्ट तौर से
Right. Well, that was former Union Minister P. Chidambaram, who's of course also a senior lawyer, explaining to the media the Congress's position on this entire controversy, saying countering the BJP accusation that they complained only this evening, which is what Jaiveer here in the studio was telling us as well. He says it's only when the authorities in Gujarat did not act on the Congress complaint this morning that they decided to approach the Election Commission of India this evening. And we understand that while Mr. Chidambaram has been speaking to the media outside, there is another BJP delegation that is inside the Election Commission. So we may see some more of that for some time. We're just going to try and go across to Mr. Jainarayan Vyas of the BJP shortly on the phone line. But let me just go across to Clyde Crasto of the NCP. Well, you know, there are so many stories, Mr. Crasto, today in this entire drama that has played out, this entire story. And one of the stories is the sort of wishy-washy stand that the NCP has taken. Apparently, one of your MLAs has voted for the BJP, the other for the Congress. What is going on with the NCP? Have you also come under pressure?
No, absolutely not. You know, right from the time that the whole process started this morning, we made it clear that there was a clear instruction to both our MLAs to vote for the Congress. Now, one of them, Mr. Jadeja, turned hostile. Now, that's his personal opinion, what he's done. But we have always supported the Congress, and we wanted to support them here too. And, you know, just that it just went wrong with one person taking his own personal decision. So, you know, the stories about we going completely against the Congress is not true at all.
Well, let me just get Mr. Jainarayan Vyas of the BJP on the phone line with us. I apologize, Mr. Vyas. There's a problem with our OB there. But how would you respond to the Congress's charge here that they had actually, you know, complained to the Election Commission, to the returning officer in the morning in Gujarat, and had to approach the EC in Delhi only much later? So they're saying they've complained about this invalid voting from the beginning.
Well, that is their prerogative. As a party at the election, they could have complained, they could have not complained. That's not the issue. The issue right now is that they have preferred the adjudication of the highest constitutional authority, that is the Election Commission of India, under whose supervision, guidance and overall directive the election process takes place. So I think having done that, ultimately we should have the final word from the Election Commission, and hopefully that will make the process complete to continue the counting.
Mr. Vyas, the accusation though by the Congress in particular is that this has been a complete sort of a subversion of democracy, as they're putting it, that, you know, that all kinds of tactics are being used for this one Rajya Sabha seat because it's become such a prestige battle.
Well, I think it is more true for Congress rather than for Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party, if they were attaching so much of an importance for this one Rajya Sabha seat, their Chief Minister would not have been camping in the flood-affected areas for as long as 5 to 6 days. You know, he has supervised the flood relief operations wherein no Congress leader found even the time to sympathize and visit the flood-affected areas. So to say that the BJP is sharp focused only on this seat and they have made it a prestige issue, I think is entirely wrong. It is on the contrary. Congress, which has this, I think they are fighting the last ditch battle for existence, and they have gone, I think, in total frustration mode, that this seat, which they thought is just simply in their pocket, and they put in everything they can, taking even their MLAs during the worst of the floods and the problem areas
Mr.
in
Vyas,
South Gujarat.
You also took away their MLAs. So isn't there also an equal or perhaps a bigger hunger from by the BJP to want to win this seat?
I would not, I'm sorry, I would decline to agree with your statement that we took away their MLAs. It is their in fight. Shankar C. Waghela as much belonged to them, and they had some problem, and thereafter ultimately the Congress, out of the infight and the split that they have, this all is resultant outcome of Shankar C. Waghela not getting placated by Congress. Till last minute efforts, they could not sort of patch up with Shankar C. Waghela and his faction. So this is their internal problem. BJP has nothing to do with it.